We may still be very early in the NBA season, but there are already a ton of teams that seem to be looking to make big changes moving forward. Some teams that we expected to come out flying out of the gate have struggled, some teams we were skeptical about have been red hot, and some teams already seem to be on the verge of a blow-up. So Bleacher Report recently dropped an article proposing hypothetical trades that are so wild that they could actually work. As always, I'm here to go through each of them, analyzing whether or not they're reasonable, why or why not each team would want to do it in the first place, and who would benefit the most from them if it were to go down. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but it also very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first proposal from the article is between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Washington Wizards, and in it the Wizards receive Kyle Kuzma in exchange for Marcus Morris, Furkan Korkmaz, Daniel House, and a first-round pick. The Sixers have been playing better than anybody anticipated early on this season, currently sitting in first place in the Eastern Conference standings, and after ridding themselves of James Harden and ending that saga, they've made it clear that they're now shifting their focus to searching for another piece that can keep their title window open with the assets that they now have at their disposal. A lot of names that have been floated out there have been interesting, but this is one of the first times that I've heard Kyle Kuzma mentioned as a potential piece for them, and honestly, I'm pretty intrigued by it. Right now, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey are handling a lot of the team's scoring load, with Tobias Harris adding some good contributions as well, and it's working, thanks in large part to Maxey taking a huge leap forward this season, and for that reason, I could see why the team wouldn't want to add another ball-dominant scoring guard that would push Maxey to the backseat, but Kuzma can slide into the role that Kelly Oubre was excelling in early on this year and give them an even bigger boost. Kuzma has been in a situation in Washington where he's had the green light as the team's top option nightly, and has shown that he can be a regular 20-plus point scorer, but realistically, he should be a team's third option if they intend on winning games, not a number one. He's a much better defender than most give him credit for, he's proven he can adapt on a contender after winning a title with the Lakers, and his shot creation is a much needed asset in the Sixers front court alongside Tobias Harris. The Sixers have been trying not to add long-term contracts, which could create some hesitation here because Kuzma still has 3 years left on his current contract, but at just $21 million per year, it's really a bargain compared to the money that other guys at his level are being paid nowadays. For the Wizards, the first-round pick is obviously enticing for a team focused on the future, and the players they get back are all expiring contracts, which gives them more cap flexibility after this year. So overall, this is a trade I could actually see going down if the Sixers don't find better before the deadline. The next proposal from the article is between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Chicago Bulls, and in it the Lakers receive DeMar DeRozan in exchange for D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent, and a first-round pick. The Lakers were a team carrying a lot of positive momentum into the year after a trip to the conference finals with their new-look group last year, but this season has not been as smooth as they would have hoped. LeBron and Anthony Davis have looked very good to lead the way, but after that there have been a lot of question marks, with Austin Reeves failing to take the leap that many expected from him, D'Angelo Russell coming with his typical inconsistencies, new signee Gabe Vincent shooting ice cold so far, Cam Reddish still not breaking out, and Christian Wood still getting acclimated to his new limited role. It's becoming more and more apparent that the Lakers may want to try to find a third star to stay in contention, and with the Bulls seeming to be on the verge of blowing up, DeRozan could definitely be a realistic option. At this point in his career, DeRozan can definitely still be a valuable scoring boost, which is what the team needs, as a group ranking near the middle of the pack offensively, ranking 17th league-wide on offense. But what confuses me about this offer is the fact that the Lakers would be giving up both of the point guards in their rotation. I understand that LeBron James can still comfortably play the point guard role with his facilitation prowess still being top-notch, but they literally wouldn't have any other point guards on their roster after this trade, so the non-LeBron minutes, which have already been disastrous this year, would become even more disastrous with nobody to orchestrate things. I don't necessarily necessarily think the value being sent both ways is imbalanced. I just don't think it makes sense from a roster construction perspective for the Lakers. The next proposal from the article is between the New York Knicks and the Chicago Bulls, and in it the Knicks receive Zach Lavine in exchange for RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier, and 2 first-round picks. The Knicks have been attached to rumors surrounding some of the biggest names in the league as potential trade targets, but in all likelihood the price tag on those players will be way too high to go after, so this proposal gives them a more realistic chance at a star. As I just mentioned in the last segment, the Bulls seem to be running on borrowed time, and Lavine individually is starting to hit the rumor mill as potentially the next big name to be on the move, so if the Knicks wanted to upgrade without having to completely empty their chest of assets, then this could definitely be explored. RJ Barrett has been playing the best basketball of his career early on this season, but it's only been 7 games, so he is bound for some regression with his red-hot three-point shooting, and this could be an opportunity to sell high on him to get an established all-star scoring talent in Lavine. One thing I will say about it is that I don't necessarily think either side is suffering in terms of value on paper in this deal, but the fit of Lavine seems like one that would come with some growing pains. Lavine is somebody who likes to take a lot of shots, and he'd be coming into a team with Julius Randle and his black hole shot selection, along with Jalen Brunson, who has broken out into a star in a high usage role running the show. There would be nights where he would be the third option, and I'm not sold on him being happy with that. So while the talent upgrade makes sense on paper, this could be another example of flaws coming with the roster construction when they have to actually put it all together on the court. And finally, the last proposal from the article we'll be going over is between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Cleveland Cavaliers, and in it the Pacers receive Malcolm Brogdon in exchange for Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro, and 2 second-round picks. When Darius Garland missed a few games due to injury this season, it became abundantly clear that the Cavaliers have a problem with their point guard depth. Donovan Mitchell can handle the ball handling duties, but he's always been more of a scorer by nature, and then without Garland, they really don't have a single other reliable point guard on the roster. Malcolm Brogdon also seems like a very obvious trade target in general, and that's been the case ever since his arrival in Portland as a result of the Jrue Holiday trade. He's the reigning 6th man of the year for the Celtics last year, and he could assume a very similar role in Cleveland if this went through, where he would continue to excel. Swapping him and Karis LeVert would make a lot of sense for the sake of fit, but I know it would sting some in the Cavaliers organization and fanbase to also see Okoro leave in the trade like this. Okoro hasn't been bad by any means, but he hasn't lived up to the hype at all after being drafted in the top 5 of the 2020 NBA draft. What he is now is probably what he will be moving forward, as a solid defender, but basically just the 5th starter or a bench player offensively. With the additions of Max Strus and George Niang this summer, it does make it easier to swallow though, so in the long run I think this would benefit the Cavaliers, even though on paper it may feel like a slight overpay. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about these trades. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.